So you are going to be able to still support the Lilia with a lot of these plays. You have two side lanes that you can play around very easily with the Misfortune and the Renekton, both very strong early game skirmishers. Both should be able to generate their own lane priority. Then SDX finishing it off with the Camille means Hysterics. You are absolutely on the money. Looks like Yansheng is going to be pulling out the Volibear, unless he's going to be doing his best Ning impression. You know.
But they managed to pull out the win against OMG, even when the comp suggested they shouldn't. There on your screen, Volibear in the jungle. But for Rogue Warriors, Lyric, you talked about solo lane. We've also got the global threat from mid. And Haro piloting an AP carry. This is for all the marbles. This is for the flawless run in the first half of the group. Who's going to be topping the group? If it's an LDL team, then Rogue Warriors and FPX are going to have to pick up their game, because not only a testament to the LDL, but showing that LPL in this tournament so far ain't all they cracked up to be.
That's true, and it's really interesting also the dynamic in how both these teams are going to play out with having globals in the mid lane, right? Because if one team looks to make a play on one side of the map, the enemy team could just follow up and get on a full-on early game skirmish. When it comes to early game skirmishes, I think Rogue Warriors should just win out across the board. I think they have a stronger laning bot lane, a stronger laning top laner as well. Lilia having more damage in her kit than something like the Volibear in 3v3s compared to Volibear, who wants, like, you know, that isolated 1v1, having things like that, the Q to just lock down one target. Yeah. So I think Rogue Warriors definitely favored early on. I think for SDX, you have tools to play around early. You have a lot of lockdown, and we've already seen throughout the day what a Kai'Sa can do once she hits that 2-3 item mark. So definitely some tools to play with for the side of SDX.
And the versatility in items we've talked about many, many times today. Starting on the bottom side, after a leash was given to Haro, so SDX going to be warded on in the second. Chocho actually just walking in. It's Halo Blade's Kai'Sa, remember. Passive almost proc that last tick of the second skin, as Chocho will eventually heal that back up.
And Forge somehow taken so low in the mid lane. We're only on, you know, the second minion wave, already at half HP, already has no potions. Duya still has 2, so this is what we remember from Forge back in the LPL as well. He wasn't the strongest laner, and sure, Twisted Fate does do well into the Galio early on, but as Galio, you should be looking to play a non-interactive laning phase, right? You just kind of back off, throw out your passive and your Winds of War, and then walk up to the wave when you really can finish off those minions. And we're seeing that discrepancy in the mid lane, leading to Duya being able to go and get vision in the enemy jungle.
And once again on this Twisted Fate, in the first game around against a collegiate team, it was Duya who was playing the Twisted Fates. So this is obviously a lot of comfort, and a champion he feels very confident on. As Haro now heading towards the bottom side, that Make It Rain will be perfect. Bullet time is the ultimate, excuse me. Shadow coming in with the Zenith Blade. Chocho just dead. Kind of funny as the flash comes away from Kepler, but it is matched. Sweet spot there, and has Haro gone too far? Because Nansheng is there. Yansheng, excuse me. Zaza's coming as well. This is a full 5-man bot. That shielded Durand was fantastic, and Forge may have done enough, as Rogue Warriors are going to win this trade out. Zaza just going to his death. And everyone down the bottom for the party that Rogue Warriors started.
Yeah, super close fight on both sides. I feel like it's Chocho's passive. You are guaranteed to get one kill, but he will always go down right alongside the enemy. 5 members down in the bot lane. And it's great to show, this is what we talked about earlier, right? If a skirmish like this broke out, it just seems like Rogue Warriors have the better early game damage. Here's what we were talking about along the lines of Chocho guarantees a kill but goes down for himself. This is where things get a bit confusing. We get a ton of TPs. I thought Rogue Warriors potentially were only bringing in one. Haro about to go down, does get picked off in the end, but of course, Renekton, Misfortune, Galio, these champions have such strong base damages. And Zaza getting a bit greedy, eating too far forward, ends up giving his life over as well.
That hurts a lot when SDX felt like they had a really good swing of momentum getting the trade in the bottom lane. Kills go across the board, and one to that Renekton, who we just saw playing a mid lane game in the hands of Doomby that really took over. So great start here from the side of Rogue Warriors. Having said that, though, SDX are the ones who have a bit of an extra piece of gold on their side, with the CS leads through top, mid, jungle, pretty much everywhere at this point, however small.
I think the interesting thing in this game is going to be how these teams play, like which side of the map these teams decide to play around once those globals come up, because as we've said, Both teams pretty much have the ability to play around both of their side lanes. There's a lot of lockdown in both lanes. Rogue Warriors having a ton of burst, and for SDX, if they can find a window where maybe Forge wastes his Gallia ultimate, then it doesn't matter that you don't have as much burst. You still have the lockdown on both sides of the map to guarantee some picks. So global pick comps on both sides, both can play out through all three lanes. There isn't really any set one dimension you need to play through.
Okay, so again, using that word versatility definitely feels nice. We were mentioning Volibear builds as we're coming into this game. It is going to be the Bammy Cinder, so of course we're going into the Sunfire Aegis. And already with that kill means the Bammy Cinder comes a bit faster, so Yanshang clearing pretty quick as he sends the Sky Splitter up, and even going to help the clear speed of mid lane for Duye too.
Yep, just walking through, showing and guaranteeing some prio. If Duya had been 6, they even could have looked for a dive top. They potentially still can. Realistically, both are walking there. It looks like Zaza has a wave, and Haro is on the bot side looking for Dragon, but they do decide to back off. And this should be pretty much a guaranteed Dragon for the side of Rogue Warriors, though it looks like SDX have an inkling with that.
Oh. Well, I mean, there's a ward there from SDX, and Shadow and Kepler still push out. Flash away immediately, headbutt Pulverize with the trample. Kepler's ignited, and SDX Dragon's warded.
I'm pretty sure Shadow just went and got that ward right now, which is why we saw him walk up. But still, Kepler walking forward to push the wave while your support's going and warding Dragon. Really doesn't make a lot of sense.
Hang on, it's ulti for ulti. Ziv is going to get a helping hand in the opposite direction. Flashes back towards his turret, and Zaza saved by Duya, really mitigating the losses here. The SDX were close to losing out in yet another lane.
Yeah, and Rogue Warrior is still able to guarantee the Drake, and we do see on the opposite side of the map, Forge is looking for something top. Ziv is extremely low, though.
Good little Justice Punch. Flashes away from the shield of Duran. Duya had to do that. The damage was enough. So away goes Twisted Fate, and the wave pushes in. Another good back timing here for the top laner of Rogue Warriors, and Ziv's going to be close towards that Gore Drinker. Iron Spike Whip feels pretty close as well.
And we see, again, Shadow just placed that ward down. Rogue Warriors goes, hey, their AD carry is still pushing. Let's look for this gank. Great flash W coming in from Chocho. And they have the damage to easily finish that one off. So Rogue Warriors so far, a bit slower, a bit steadier. Still a lot of action, but at least more controlled than their previous game.
Yeah.
And yeah, Rogue Warriors in a nice commanding position.
With the Hextech Alternator on the Galio, and nothing's really changed with a lot of these champions that just want to go in. The Hextech Rocket Belt feels as nice as ever, and we know that it's stronger than ever as well. So even though he's behind in CS, he's got that kill, and that makes him in a bit of a lead through the mid lane, and one where Rogue Warriors in the game itself are actually up about 100 gold, despite these bottom lane leads, these top lane CS leads that have existed for the majority of the game.
And once again, Ziv being a bit of a question mark in this lane, really struggling to go against Zaza, who we talked about. This is also Zaza's first day of competitive games as well. He is replacing Mikuya, who is now the new top laner of LNG. Of course, he was on this SCS roster last split when they got second place in LDL, so SDX have a bit of a learning curve and readjustment with their roster, but Zaza so far in the first 2 games has been doing quite well.
Yeah, he's been a nice surprise, right? Like, the new players of today have been such good surprises. Has the Sheen in his inventory, and I'm kind of just watching this Herald go down as Smite is finished off, and the item now consumed, and Herald picked up. So if you want to see Zaza succeed, a Herald to the top side lyric, the possibility is there.
Yeah, and right, we see the Sheen. We do expect him to go towards the Triforce. That's pretty much what Camille builds every single game. Quite well with the bonus movement speed you get, with the stacking base AD that you get. It's up to 30%. And then, of course, the Spell Blade passive after you cast a spell, being powered auto attack as well. So just an item that's still all around great for Camille.
Really nice mechanical trade there. Kind of swift as well. 20 CS on the lead over Ziv right now, and why are you mentioning that? Oh, Hextech Ultimatum time. Destiny's going to come through. This time, Duya's not mitigating the loss. He's insinuating that Ziv's just going to lose. Into 3. No, thank you. Zaza with his first kill of the game, and this is perfect for SDX. The win condition, definitely alive.
You know, and Ziv is going to have a rough time in LPL for the reason that coming from LMS slash, now PCS, no teams player on top, no teams gank top. So he's really in for a new surprise, realizing that, hey,
Wild
people can
ride.
actually come to your lane.
True. I think you and I, in private discussions that we're now going to share with the world, have talked about how, transitioning from a region like LMS, we're talking about it being slow. And people like Maple were really struggling with, like, defining his laning phase to the region of the LPL.
I've always truly believed that LMS, now PCS to a degree, but I'd say less so now with the inclusion of some of the Southeast Asian teams. But back when it was just, full on the LMS region, it was the perfect mix of LPL and LCK. Maybe not perfect because it didn't win, but you had the more strategical play, but it was still very team fight focused. So
Yeah.
that's where a player like Civ, learned how to play League of Legends and was never a region that really developed these lane kingdom top laners that you can find, I guess, even going all the way down to LDL.
Absolutely, because the biggest problem with using the example of Maple once again is when he came to LPL, he just seemed so out of water and became one of the worst laners, or mid laners rather, in 2019. It was a shame because everyone knew him as such a great player. So hoping that Ziv can adjust. That's why the Demacia Cup's going to be so important for him, where he has a tournament to move in with Rogue Warriors and really get comfortable. Because the Demacia Cup is the closest feeling tournament to the LPL. NEST doesn't provide too much, and Demacia Cup just has high level of competition mixed in. I might have to pause because teleport's being burned, and Duya's stuck around for way too long. Heals up, he's going to be slept if they even need to. Turns out his nap time was 5 minutes before, so down he goes for the second time, and Rogue Warrior's still proactive as ever.
I just want to highlight the perfect timing of summoner spells because Duya's flash is actually just coming up now, so great use of that timer. And now we even have members on the top side of the map to counteract any plays that SDX want to make. You still have the Galio ultimate available as well if you want to look for something. But look at the mini-map right on the top side. We see Yansheng cheekily waiting around in topside brush. They just want to keep laying down this punishment on Ziv because it's the only place on the map they have an advantage.
Giving Zaza more resources. I mean, let's just go over conditions again as Herald gets placed down. You want to see this Camille freed. You want to see her in a side lane where no one can match her, right? And the Twisted Fate hovering between, or how would you perfectly define this?
Yeah, I definitely think once we get to mid-game, it's going to be a bit of a 1-3-1 coming out from SDX. You're going to have your Volibear hover with your Camille. You also have a few variations that you could have your TF come and look for the port as well from behind, which is a lot harder to look at. But it's much more about the side lane in the sense of getting this Camille ahead. For Rogue Warriors, you have the ability to answer sides because both Galio and Renekton are fine in the side lane. But it's about using that side pressure and bringing it together into a full-on 5v5, or just finding a pick around the map with the tempo advantage that you can get. So it's kind of... SDX want to keep the map big. Rogue Warriors want to bring the map in small and look for this more coordinated team play.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that perfectly. Lilia, Galio, Misfortune as she uses her ult to clear the wave in the bottom side. You're always good at talking lyric. I've never told you that. It's Hextech Ultimatum once again, the top side, but the hero's entrance line perfectly. Hara's the vibe for now. He flashes and he smites. Rogue Warriors love blood, and SDX apparently love giving it to them. As that double kill comes in hard for the Renekton, and in an instant, SDX are dead.
And it's just beautiful to watch. Sure, Ziv might be struggling in the laning phase, which he is getting heavily camped by the jungler. It's understandable, but beautiful in these team play moments. Haro once again being a highlight. Forge looking much better in these two games that we've seen compared to his time in LPL, but we need to remember Forge has shown glimpses of greatness before, like when he subbed in for IG, and it just wasn't consistent. But I'm hoping on this roster, Forge can stay a force to be reckoned with.
He almost cursed you there. Flashes away from the Solar Flare after sticking around. That turret on a glimmer, as you like to call it. It's a, what do you call it? Dead turret. It's a breath in the wind, smoke in the water. Anyway, we'll talk about this play.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this play. Yeah, I was so caught up on your breath of the wind. We see Rogue Warriors going in. We see Zip flashing over along with Haro. Chocho then going in as well to finish it off.
What do you call it when you call it like it's freestanding goal? It doesn't exist there. What do you call it?
It's kind of like imaginary safety. Like, I can't remember what the term I used to use was, but it's something like that. It's, you know, that turret is alive. Sure, that turret is still up, but Rogue Warriors can go and take that turret at any time when they want. They can just leave that up, allow for an extended laning phase, you know, things like that. So it gives you a false sense of security as
there we go. I like that. Okay, perfect. Well, we got there in the end, and that false sense of security, it would add a little bit more gold while SDX are trying to get their first turret of the game down bottom lane. Remember, first turret blood's available, but actually, SDX pick it up. So that's as small of a window as you'll ever take.
Hey, but you know, Haro is using his Breath of the Wind to pick up the Rift Herald, you know, and they're able to transition that to somewhere else on the map. Though, with a lot of these outer turrets already down, I mean, you only have bot lane turret up left. That actually could coincide pretty well with Dragon that's going to be up in 130. So get your resets off now, get some wards, get back on the map, lay down your vision, drop Herald down bot, and then turn right to Dragon. So you're killing two birds with one stone.
It's a great time to back as well, Lyric, because we've got first items coming across the board. Trinity Force was already picked up in that top lane. Sunfire through the Volley Bear. The Hextech Alternator, unfortunately, hasn't turned into anything for Duya because, oh, there we go. As I say that, it's the Rocket Belt now picked up. He fell behind, so I wasn't surprised when he didn't have the amount of money, but he waits around and picks it up. But also, this is good solo kill territory. Can Zaza find it before Galio gets reinforcements? And the answer is no. Winds of War flashed away from. Ziv wants to do the same. He's got Gore Drinker. With the hook shot, wall shot, brings in for the Destiny. Duya has that Proto Belt now, and with the ulti, gold card, the hero's entrance, lay it on. Forge wants to bring the play back. Great taunt from Forge. Is it enough, though? Gold card, Volley Bear angry. The honey in the trees again. It looks like Forge is concealing. The Rogue Warriors lose another. SDX are striking true in some of these battles.
I mean, overall, it's a 2 for 2 in the end, and Chocho looking to keep going. We know Chocho always loves to go forward.
Good dodge away from Shadow. It was the phase rush that he was trying to appeal to the masses. Duya is over the wall with a gold card, and there's still a Herald for Haro, so this Lilia can put some pressure down somewhere, especially since it's got half its time out remaining. But that was something, Lyric.
I'm surprised that Chocho wants to reset because they could just head straight to Dragon with Galio TP. But as we see the play, Rogue Warriors are looking for the engage. Chocho goes in, and the other ultimate comes out. But hey, guess what? Kaisa can jump in there with her ult as well. Really nice flash coming out from Shadow. Sadly, Kepler does get brought down in the end. But now, you know, we're going to go back to Dragon as we were talking about, and SDX just nowhere to be found.
Yep, they're back in the base, just sitting there waiting, and meanwhile, the Mountain Dragon's going to lead to Soul Point for Rogue Warriors.
You know what's scary, though? This is very reminiscent of the Rogue Warriors OMG earlier, but this time SDX are Rogue Warriors.
Ah, okay. Well, but Rogue Warriors, weren't we talking about scaling a little bit before?
Yeah, so it's actually even scarier because now it's Rogue Warriors, but they also have scaling. So actually, they're nothing like Rogue Warriors. But my point is, they're going to win this game.
Like SDX, yeah. Okay. Well, I'll just be waiting for those next couple of items. I think especially for Zaza, who we talked about a lot on this Camille, Ravenous has been the go-to second item, as the healing is going to be quite large, plus the attack speed you get off of it being a legendary item for Trinity Force. Yep. So, what do you want to see, Lyric? What entices you?
I'm enticed by the Gale Force once again on the Kaisa. Again, I want to see those cross-map big plays. The Leandries on the Lilius. Of course, last game we did see the Night Harvester come out, but I think this time it's a much better fit for this game. Another change to Leandries we can tell people, if they might not know, is that now Leandries also has a stacking passive where every second you ignore 5% magic resist. And that stacks up to 3 times for 15%. So it is a cool little item to dish out even more damage.
Plus we have the health damage, right? So there's a lot of tank destruction on this item now. As to inhibit a turret with a Rift Herald. That's asleep on the backline too, but they haven't engaged. Meanwhile, those Ziv on the Renekton pops the ulti in. It's Dominus time. But the House of Batiatus does not accept traitors. And that's exactly what Ziv is for not going in further. SDX are chasing him down, and you know what? That TP means everything. Hextech Ultimatum's here. Destiny in front. Rogue Warriors having 3. Actually cancelled out. Zaza now left by himself. SDX don't know the turn's there. They didn't fully commit, Lyric. And Rogue Warriors, you want to fight them at their own game. They'll win. The Shadow's on the escape path. Shield of Duran connects. That's the taunt. The damage enough. Headbutt pulverized. Shadow's dead too. And with it, maybe the chance of this game for SDX.
I mean, the problem is you're having your two people lead the flank, be Camille or Twisted Fate, both champions who are fairly squishy, and once they go in, get instantly bursted out. We see that happen, exactly that from Rogue Warriors. Now they're just going to get a free Herald, not a free Herald, I'm sorry, a free inhibitor, and just turn that into a nice reset.
Very nicely done. Inhibitor open in the bottom side of the map. Remember, we're heading toward the Soul, so the fact that we got a pushing lane down bottom towards Dragon is magnificent as... Oh, that was to stop it, I'm guessing. Yeah.
Yep. You cannot stop before and after you already do it, so doing that to cancel. And again, I think if you wanted to look for a play like this, you would need Volibear to be able to ult in, but Volibear actually doesn't have ultimate anymore, and Leona to follow up. You can't have your Camille being the one to start the fight, so instantly gets bursted out. Backs come in, and we do get some more items coming out as well, like the Zanya's Hourglass onto Forge, so that will be a big deal in the upcoming fights.
Can I ask, do you like that play, though? Because obviously he regretted pressing the Destiny, the ultimate.
Oh,
and
no,
Zonya's was used
I think the Destiny was the wrong play.
Oh, okay. All right. Just making sure, because he could have Zonya's there, but you're right, he would have been in the middle of 5 people, and SDX couldn't catch up in time, so... the 2-item TF holds back, and at the end of the day, that's a massive loss for SDX. Look at the gold lead, 2K in Rogue Warriors' favor at 21 minutes, and a couple of steps away from being the only undefeated team in Group A, which is a very nice feeling, a very nice start to the potential of 2021 LPL for Rogue Warriors.
I do want to say, though, life is about perspective. So, you know, 2K gold lead, you know, that the 2K gold deficit is nothing compared to a 20K gold deficit of last game. So SDX are actually in an amazing position.
Okay. Or they're just an LDL team and the other one was a collegiate team. So
that is
I don't
possible.
know. Look,
it's possible.
the points of comparison, the variable has changed. I never did science. Variable, the test tube. I don't know. Here comes Rogue Warriors. Betty, whoa, big flash forward. That was amazing. That's what you have when you're a confident 80 carry.
That was a big boy flash for sure. Holy.
That was. Betty has that, you know, sometimes Betty has that feeling and he just jumps forward. Not like Gala, who's, you know, obviously taking the wheel in RNG now. But it's good to see Betty having that now on Rogue Warriors, because that's what you have to be if you're on Rogue Warriors.
I feel like Gala will slam his foot on the pedal of the car, to where Betty is just the guy who is usually in the back seat and sometimes will jump into the front passenger seat, you know?
Do you know, have you ever had that taxi driver that, you know, always hits the brakes every time he stops instead of just like easing off the accelerator?
Oh,
maybe
God,
that's Betty. Smash the brakes, smash the accelerator, smash the brakes. Mountain Soul, by the way, thank you so much. No contestation here from SDX, and Rogue Warriors now have a big meat shield.
You know, another interesting point about Rogue Warriors is so their next game is against HMG, but the last game of the day on this stream is Rogue Warriors versus FPX, which I feel like coming into today is probably, you know, maybe the most exciting one for a lot of people. So at least we get to end our day on a banger with potentially Rogue Warriors being able to go undefeated.
I think that'll be the series, or sorry, the match that actually defines who's going through to versus top esports. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that decides it all, as SDX are really struggling to defend from these supers in the bottom side. And this is what we're talking about with supers coming out bottom. The Soul was pretty much guaranteed, and now with waves pushing in, Rogue Warriors moving around Baron, trying to bring SDX near.
And I mean, Rogue Warriors, the ball's in their court. Obviously, they can look for any fight they want. I definitely feel like the right play would be for them just to go for the Baron force. I even think you should just have Ziv bot, honestly, since Zaza doesn't have TP. But it would be too late to go for that lane setup now. He'd already have to be there. But Rogue Warriors, for some reason, being a bit cautious, putting out some pings on top turret when, I mean, Rogue SDX, I'm sorry, have no ability to fight you at this point in the game.
I'll just take the free turret, that's fair enough, and Rogue Warriors going to take it in.
Free turret or free Baron in the game.
That's true. Maybe they are, you know, part of the RSPCA. Very respected organizations like Peter, except, you know, work with animals. And so, what is Baron? A protected species, I would say. They're just going to back away. They're waiting for a pick up the top side of the map.
Nope, there's pigs coming. There was a pig that came out onto Baron right after you said it was a protected species.
Okay, right.
I think Rogue Warriors know the play, though. Of course, now Zaza does have TP, but unfortunately, gold lead actually isn't that massive. I do feel like the Mountain Soul Shield will be pretty big, but hey, your Kaisa is on her 2-item spike. Your Camille also has the 2 items that you talked about, you know, being able to pick up that Ravenous Hydra. So if there's any time that SDX can pull something out, it would be now. The thing is, though, as we saw in the last fight, it's really awkward for them to just run straight into Rogue Warriors comp, which has a lot more AoE, and I'd say does really well as a ball comp, just staying together. SDX, if they're going to look for that play and they can't get the pick, Volibear and Leona need to be able to jump in first and kind of cause a lot of disruption and chaos.
Which is possible. You know, Spectre's Cowl there means there's a lot of resistance on both sides here for Yan Xiang, but Destiny going to be used. Chocho's found the Volibear who wants to go in. He ults out with the Stormbringer, comes back in. Guys put a shield necessary to continue the play, but that's a multi-man sleep. You know what? Put me to bed, Lyric. I'm tired of this. Tired of Rogue Warriors taking over SDX. That's all she wrote. Baron game. It doesn't matter. Lily is on a tear.
And the thing is, Betty even ended up getting caught out by Zaza and Duya. But like you said, with the Lilia sleep coming in so massive, they're able to kill the rest of the members of the team. And SDX are left with no options. They have to go and push the mid lane. It looks like they're sending Chocho to go answer. But this is definitely going to be the Baron for Rogue Warriors. Like you said, things looking pretty dicey for SDX, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, they are. I like the passion to push this mid lane turret and try to mitigate your losses. But with this Baron, it doesn't feel like any of those inhibitors are going to stay standing. Look at the synergy of backs there. Everyone press B at the exact same time, Lyric. That's when you know.
That is a lot of experience in international synergy. But here, we're going to have another look at this fight. Chocho and Forge coming in on the flank, knowing that SDX are going to look for this play. Betty starts up the ultimate. Everyone runs out or flashes away. And we see all the members of RW going forward as Betty gets caught out. Ziv does flash in, finds a nice kickoff. We saw the Lilia sleep come in as well. And then just getting picked off by that last bit of her neck and ultimate damage leads to Rogue Warriors winning the fight.
Note that Lilia now, or should I say Haro, has 14 stacks on the Magi's, and this item is so damn good. Forge 7 stacks himself, but that'll grow. And Rogue Warriors with a 3k gold lead, it just feels like so much more. You know, it feels like Rogue Warriors are so much further ahead with Mountain Soul especially. They've got bottom lane inhibitor that needs destroying rather. And Rogue Warriors need to get the bin push underway as well. Top wave is going to have to be managed though, Lyrics. So this could be slowed down, even with Baron.
Let's also remember that, again, Magi's and Darksteel now grants 5 AP per stack. So you are getting a ton of value out of it now that the AP ratio has been buffed. Haro going to be an absolute monster in these fights.
Yeah, he is. 3-man pulverized. Is the sleep coming forward? Winds of War does a bit of damage, but he holds onto it. Haro holding onto it is
They just tickled Shadow. Tickled him.
Yeah.
Half HP.
No one likes being tickled unless you don't have any emotions. You know?
True.
And that's... I'll be honest, I think SDX probably have emotions, so it's bothering them. And Zaza looking for an angle in. Respectable is how he's looking for this engage. And Yan Xiang trying to defend, but it is still double inhibitor gone. No punishment. Elders coming up in 15 seconds, Lyric, and this will be a doozy.
Yeah, I want to see Rogue Warriors turn and look for the fight. You don't want a 50-50 smite coming out.
Okay, well, the engage starts, and Yan Xiang just walked away. Yan Xiang, excuse me. It is the first time seeing his name here today. But there's junglers at half health. So Elder Dragon begins, and SDX need to make the move.
Volibear does have no ultimate and no smite, though. If he does want to look for a steal, he just has to run forward.
Destiny first. Shadow's going to go golden in time. Sleep hasn't been used yet onto Shadow. The damage still not enough. He survives for a very long time. Remember that Lilting Lullaby has been saved as they just re-engage, and here it will come down now. Perfectly done. Savor the moment for SDX as bullet time's cancelled thanks to Yan Xiang, but he's left alone because Kepler's trying to kite his way out. Lilia needs 2 spins with the sweet spot in the middle. That'll be all she wrote. back to the Elder, then back to the enemy base.
Yep, with death timers this long, Rogue Warriors play it so patiently, end up winning out the fight. And now they're just going to be able to push forward, again, be the only team left undefeated in this group after a bit of a reset there. Doesn't mean too much. Shadow can't defend the base by himself. And, nice start for Rogue Warriors.
Nice start. Nice finish to half the day, right? 5 games in, they've had 2 games themselves, and they've looked pretty great against OMG. Now against SDX in 30-minute fashion. They'll take our 5th game of the day and be the only team standing in Group A at a 2-0 record.
Yeah, and again, just very tempered play from Rogue Warriors. We've seen a trend these 2 games that they're very explosive early games. They're really willing to get in your face, and it's not really about individual lane leads.
Always a way these teams just sneak up on you, and a roster like this with so much experience could mesh together well. We're seeing Forge playing his laning phase quite well as well, which is something, I was always critical of. And Betty and Chocho turning out to be a pretty synergized bottom lane. So props to Rogue Warriors, who are 2-0 start. And over SDX, who gave them a good run. I think SDX have proven they are a strong LDL team. They just couldn't get their feet off the ground after a couple of those fights went wrong.
Yeah, I feel like we've seen some impressive